Okay, so many of us in this room can say that we're not strangers as consumers to sending text messages, downloading mobile apps, playing with games, or even searching for a local retailer through your mobile device. Today, though, I'm here to talk with you about how businesses are using that as a communication tool, and for those businesses that are not, why it would be so important. So Engaging Results is a locally owned company here in Madison. We also have an office in Milwaukee and comprised of a team of 12 people that are on a day-to-day basis helping companies, small or large, to better engage with their customers. These are our 3 core programs that we help them to use. And I will tell you that about 90% of the business that we conduct is done via SMS text messaging. We do that because that is, number one, our niche in the market within the mobile space, but also because it's so accessible to both our businesses, our clients that we're working with, as well as the consumers that are trying to engage with their brands. So some of the facts going on right now, did you know that 8 trillion text messages were sent last year alone? So as a business, it's time to take a step back, I think, and ask ourselves, of those 8 trillion, how many of them were about my business? How many of them were about my product, and am I open to hearing them? So mobile is definitely rising. I think just as consumers, we can admit that we're tied to our mobile devices. But it's a fact now that $6 billion will be spent by companies this year on mobile advertising, because we as businesses are acknowledging that that's the way that we're connecting with our consumers directly one-to-one, whether that's B2B or B2C for that matter. So talking about cutting-edge marketing, cutting edge is kind of a tough phrase, I think, to use with this, because it's the now, it's not the future anymore, okay? However, cutting edge makes us take a step back and think about the history of marketing and advertising. It used to be who can scream the loudest, who has the biggest sign. Not anymore. If you're not saying a message that's directed at me in my personality and my buying habits, I'm not listening. So that is why 80% engagement rate is now being seen in ideal SMS text campaigns, because that's what consumers are asking for, is talk to me on my level, on my platform. So some of the places you'll see SMS used on a commercial use is going to be at expos and trade shows, directing you around to different booths when you walk into a store, helping you to find out what that flower is all about and how do you plant it and when to water it. Some of the other places you'll find it, though, is in your traditional advertising. If you ever see a call to action that's prompting you to text in or to snap a QR code to get more information. Permission-based is how mobile marketing should work. It should always be permission-based, either through mobile-originated or web-originated opt-in when you're communicating with your consumers. And really the perfect complement to any social media or traditional advertising. So while it's more one-to-one communication that's going on now that's being effective, it is still very important to work with the traditional media as well as your social media. And mobile really allows you to tie all of that together very nicely, okay? Some of the mobile events that we've helped to support here in the local area that you may recognize are up here on the screen right now. We have some of them coming up, in fact, this fall, where you'll be able to do scavenger hunts with your mobile device, walking around different events to check out chances to win and find prizes and interact with those sponsors. Those are also being done on a national level, so keep your eyes open. Loyalty clubs is something that it's a term we use every day around the office, because what we're doing a lot of times is helping a company to generate an audience of people that has an interest in their product or service and communicate with them on a very regular basis so that their consumers' attention isn't being pulled away by other mediums. An interactive ad is something that many of you have probably seen as consumers, whether you're driving down the Beltline, don't text while you're driving, but driving down the Beltline and you see a call to action on a billboard, or you're reading a newspaper or a magazine. That interactive ad that's allowing you to interact with it via mobile is also a great revenue generator for many of our media clients. Our white label service is something that we've seen grow pretty astronomically this year, and that's because we're finding a lot of companies are no longer just wanting to be part of something. They want to be able to slap their label on it and own that audience. So a good question to ask if you're looking into mobile is, who is my audience and who has access to that? I'd be happy to help you with that. It is also a sales tool. I know I've talked with some of you in the room here, or our sales team has as well, about using mobile, whether it's an app or text message, to really move consumers or businesses through that sales funnel for you in a very efficient way where you're not having a lot of waste. Mobile apps is something that we dabble in. I'll be real honest with you, when we work with mobile apps, we're working within our SMS program to tie that together, but we do work with other local vendors here in the area that have helped many companies to build some of these 300,000 mobile apps that are currently on the market. And QR codes is something I'm asked about on a very regular basis. You see them. In fact, they're used more by marketers than they are by consumers, unfortunately. What's happening is it's a lazy man's URL is what I heard one time, and I think there's a lot of credit to be given on that term. It sends you to a URL. As a marketer, make sure you have control over where that URL is directing people in the future. So right here are a couple of samples of things you might have seen here in the Madison market, working with some of our clients such as Pizza Pit, Pizza Extreme, Cobuston Buses. These are all call to actions that they've simply placed on their other communication to allow their customers to interact and engage to get more information when they aren't there to answer the questions one-on-one. So if you're looking to dive into mobile marketing, some questions to ask yourself and to ask your providers: are you compatible? Who am I going to be compatible with? Am I covered on FCC and FTC compliance issues? And how is it implemented? How easy is it for my staff and for my consumers? So with that being said, I hope you all take a minute to step back, not as just consumers, but businesses, and evaluate mobile for your future communication needs. Feel free to text in or visit me afterward for any questions.